Welcome, everyone, to the Best of Markham podcast, brought to you by me, Igor Klibanov from FitnessSolutionsPlus.ca, your personal trainers for chronic conditions. Here with me today is Barry Gordon from Gordon's Downsizing and Estate Services. Barry, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Thanks, Igor. My name is Barry Gordon. Our company is Gordon's Real Estate. It is unique in really North America. We're an integrated real estate and transition company. So what we do is we work just for estate executors and powers of attorney, and our clients all have a property to sell, but they also have other evolving needs. So with estates, they'll need appraisals for probate, appraisals for the property, security for the property, maintenance for the property, distribution of assets, fair division of things, online auctions of contents, that whole envelope of things. And we supply a single service package around all that. And then a similar parallel service for people downsizing. So we get them moved and settled and then ship things to relatives, sell the stuff they can't keep, and then get their house on the market and sell it. And then we finance everything in both cases from contract to completion. So an executor that doesn't have access to estate funds because they don't have probate yet can engage us and get a whole bunch of things done and accomplished without having to worry about being able to fund it. So those are a couple of features of our business, and there are many.
Got it. And how did you get into this business?
So it's interesting. I think how we're going to get back to the last question as well. I started in the livestock market business. So my dad had a livestock market in Eastern Ontario, and we were downsizing farmers. We were selling cows and equipment and farms, and then about 1980 we went urban, and so we started doing the same thing for folks in houses and subdivisions, and then the marketplace evolved over time. We sold a lot of property, a few thousand properties by auction back in the 80s. And then by the 90s, we started to build adjunct services that people could buy from us for wages. And so it just evolved the whole way through. And then in 2009, we invented a company called Max Sold, which is an online auction company that some people are familiar with.
Got it. Got it. And what do you like most about being in this business?
Well, it's a terrific business. What I love is providing people an option that they wouldn't otherwise have. Right, the way that most people, and you're a little young to appreciate this demographic in a big way, but for most people, thinking about downsizing as an example, they're 85 and their kids have moved a little bit further away from where they are, and they've lived long enough to need something different in housing. They'd like to get it accomplished. They don't know where to start. They don't know how to get their house ready to show. They don't know what to do with their extra stuff. They don't know how to involve neighbors or family if there are some. And so it's a really complex puzzle for a lot of people. And unfortunately, many people never get going. They just never get the move made. And as a result, their health trajectory doesn't go the best way, and often their last several years aren't the way that they would have hoped them to be. And by offering an easy, straightforward, organized, one-stop way to accomplish that complexity, we provide people an option that they just don't otherwise have. So, I mean, there's a lot of joy in that. In this week, I was on the road. I met some people in Milton on Thursday morning, and then Penetanguishene on Thursday afternoon, and then London on Friday morning, and then back in the Oshawa area for Friday afternoon. And so, there are people all over the place. I know that's all sides of Markham, but not in. but it really is. It's really amazing when you have an opportunity to solve a problem for people that they don't know how to solve otherwise. That the obvious choices in front of them aren't going to get it done.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a need for it, and yet not many people are covering it. So good for you for filling that need.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do for marketing? How do you get new clients?
So we've been in business 60 years. So we have a reasonable amount of referral business, and a lot of the referral business comes from repeat clients. So only people only typically downsize once from their house to an apartment. and they only die once. So you could argue that there's only going to be one time for each client, but there are more and more corporate executors, corporate trustees that have repeat assignments as the estate trustee. And then, people know they have relatives, right? My aunt used you guys, my cousin used you guys, and so we get a lot of that. But we're also, I mean, as you know, the age of digital marketing is on top of us, and particularly augmented by AI. And so there's a whole lot of that going on these days as well. And I mean, I think it's exciting. It gives people a better opportunity to self-serve what they're interested in. If they're out on Facebook kicking around, and then people are Facebook. 50 years ago, the post office used to have everybody broken into about 50 slices
Hmm.
of buying pattern.
Yeah.
And so they basically had people cut into 50 different slices of what they were. And then when the Brexit and those kind of activities took place, with Cambridge Analytics as an example, and that whole nightmare happened, that was all in the back of slicing marketing, and it was Facebook on the wrong side of the room. But over the years, it's tightened up a little bit in terms of its guardrails, etc. But the technology is evolved in that direction. So you're able to really get in front of people who probably are interested, and then they can just decide whether they're interested by clicking on what you're offering and then reading more about it. So it's a pretty consumer friendly way to get in front of people.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a service that a lot of people need. Plus, having 60 years of history goes a long way. And it's nice to use new technologies to expand the business even further.
Yeah.
Now, what are you working on right now that's exciting to you?
So for me, I spent a lot of time in the last 3 years learning a lot about AI. So people, I'm 66. Some people think that's a little bit old to get involved in AI, but I can tell you it's amazing. I built a tool last week that amazes me. It took me 93 iterations using Python
Hmm.
to take a program that we use to do a particular thing and make it work to do another thing, and combine it in a way that produces reports for us that are amazing. So that's got me pretty curious these days.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people who I ask that question to, they start to say AI as well. I think you're
Yeah,
my 67th, 68th interview. And probably a good 10, 12 said that AI is the most interesting thing that's going on right now in their business.
yeah.
Now, what obstacles have you encountered in your time as an entrepreneur?
Sorry, I'm just your sound has dropped back for me. If you don't,
Oh, sorry about that. What obstacles have you encountered in your time as an entrepreneur?
obstacles in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I'm in reasonably luxurious position because I've been around so long. I have a pretty good staff, and I have somebody I have a son of mine actually is president of our company now, and he's an RMC engineer with an MBA from Queens and work experience in strategy consulting, etc. So he actually does most of the heavy lifting that would consume a ton of time. And so it leaves me in a spot where my time is a little bit more flexible than most people would have. So I can spend time thinking about things and I'm a naturally curious person, so I do take a lot of courses and I pay a lot of attention to new things. I always listen to books or podcasts while I'm driving, and
Hmm.
that kind of occupies my time mostly.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to go. And what do you do in your free time? Not as an obstacle, just outside of work.
Yeah, so it may be boring for people, but for me, I love it. I'm a walker. I just like to walk, right? So this morning I get up a little before 5 and I knock 10 kilometers out, and while I'm doing that, I'm either listening to a book or something, or I'm planning things and I'm thinking through things that I want to do. I'm gonna go. I walked the last 40% of this thing in Spain called the Camino de Santiago.
Yeah.
I walked the last 40% of it a couple of years ago. I'm going to start at the beginning and do the whole thing this year. I've never been away from my company really and sort of unplugged for more than a couple or 3 weeks. In 3 weeks was the first biggest time when I went last time. So this week it's a 5 week trek. So it'll be 35-day trek. I'm leaving early September, and So that's my hobby.
Very exciting. No, walking I often call it a great business strategy because even though you're not walking with the intention to think about business, as you're in the background, your mind is working on business problems you currently have, and you've come up with a solution while you're walking.
Yeah,
At least I do, anyways.
yeah.
And since this is, after all, a Best of Markham podcast, what's your favorite business in Markham besides your own?
So I'm going to tell you a couple of things about that are interesting to me. It's not maybe your standard answer, but um, the guy I knew best over time in Markham was a lawyer business. The guy's name was
Yeah.
Art Mode,
Okay.
and we had the opportunity to work for him in the settlement of his mother's estate many years ago, maybe 30 years ago or more. But I wanted to tell you about a little bit of connection with my early business. There was a farm in Markham called Romandale Holsteins at Unionville,
Right.
and they were one of the most famous farms in Canada. When I was a kid growing up, they bought a cat. They sold a bull calf to Japan for $400,000 in the early '70s.
Yeah.
It was one of the first big things in I can remember in an exponentially large value, sale of a cow. And then there was this cow that's kind of the greatest cow of all time, a cow named Brookfield Tony Charity.
Hmm.
And Steve Roman bought a half interest in the cow for 1.45 million
Yeah.
in 1985.
Right.
And that cow lived at Port Perry at Hanover Hill Farms at Port Perry. A guy named Pete Heffering ran that. But there's a statue of the cow at a place called Cathedral Town,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't know if the cow is still there or not, but they put the cow up there like I don't know 15 years ago or something. A stainless steel statue of Brookfield Tony Charity, maybe the best cow of all time. Lots of cows are good cows now, and there aren't that many farms around. I don't know what there are many left in Markham, but that's my business connection to Markham
Okay.
mostly.
Okay. Well, shout out to those two businesses. And lastly, how can our viewers and listeners get in touch with you?
So we're easy to get. GoGordons.com, GoGordons.com, GoGordons.com. And that's really the best place.
Okay.
We get phone numbers, obviously, but if anyone goes to our website, it's easy to have a quick look around and see if there's anything that's of interest to them there. But the service is a very unique service. And what's super unique for everybody, no matter where you live, is it would not be unusual for us to have a 60-year-old Markham resident call and say his 85-year-old mom in Burlington is got to move to a retirement community and can we help with that and sell her property. And so we get a lot of that kind of stuff because we operate across the province. Sometimes we're moving somebody into something that might be in Markham, sometimes we're moving something out of something that might be in Markham, and sometimes we're working for somebody that just lives in Markham, but the need they have is Ottawa to Windsor, right?
Right. Right. Understood. Okay. And those contact details will be in the show notes as well. Well,
Yeah.
Barry, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Igor. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah.